Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Journey Success Stories podcast. Today, I am accompanied by Steve Bitzer. He is with Deerfield Construction, and he's the president of Deerfield. Steve, thank you so much for joining me today.
All my pleasure.
So today we will be talking, of course, about his business, how he came up through the business. He might be over multi-generational, so getting to hear this journey through his eyes is extremely exciting, and I'm really, really happy that you guys get to hear his story today. So if this is your first time to the channel, make sure that you like and subscribe because you're going to want to get additional notifications when we have new shows drop just like this one, because we're going to have some really great nuggets for you today. So Steve, welcome to the show, and thanks again for being here. Please tell us about yourself and about your business.
Well, thank you for getting in touch with me and sending the invitation. I do appreciate it. As I said in our previous conversation, this isn't a really long story. It's a pretty long journey because I'm now 63 and I'm on the other side of the business and focused more on getting my nephew and my two sons involved as much as they can and want to be, so that I can go and my wife and I can go enjoy a little bit of life. So, but as I said to you, I think I knew what I wanted to do, and watching my dad and the rest of my family, my grandfather and three uncles in this business. I knew what I wanted to do, I believe, when I was about 8 years old. So it was a no-brainer for me. I enjoyed sports. So I played baseball, I played football in school, and that was the reason why I stayed in high school. I could have graduated early. I was in a occupational work experience program my senior year in high school, and I really only needed to go one quarter of school to finish, but I decided to stay so that I could finish out my high school sports career. And then after high school, went directly to work for my dad at a company called Deerfield Construction, which was a union shop at the time. I went to school to get certified as a welder, and that's what I started doing as soon as I was out of high school. I was in a fabrication shop, and we did our own erection most of the time. So there were a few buildings that we fabricated and did not erect, but that was the start of my career. I did that for a couple of years, and then my father wanted me to go into the field and work with my grandfather and my uncles. So I got to experience with my grandfather. He's a mechanical guy, so he was an electrician and HVAC expert, and he did some plumbing also. So I performed all three of those for a couple more years, and I really learned a lot from him. He was my work hero and my hero in life. He was just a great guy. So my uncles, I did get to work with one of them in that fabrication and erection part of the business. He was very good, and he's the one that pretty much taught me, besides learning how to weld and being certified, what I needed to know on the erection side, and how to solve problems and not have to, take your torch to the field with you and make sure things were right when they went together. So that was very much appreciated. And then my other two uncles they were carpenters and concrete guys, and I got to go to work with them for a couple of years also out in the field to learn those two trades. And then they kicked me out of the band and told me I had to go start running my own jobs. So I started supervising projects like they were doing, and that was an experience that I wouldn't trade for anything. I'm 20, 22, 23 years old, and I'm running a project. And, guys are coming to my job site that are 30 and 40 years old, and they're like, who the heck is this kid? And uh, I learned very quickly to just be humble, embrace them, and ask them to help me get through it. And that worked most of the time. And even if I did know, I would, maybe pretend I didn't a little bit so that they would feel good about, getting me up to speed with their knowledge, which was really cool. So I figured that one out pretty quick. And then from there, I went to back to the office and started in project management. That was about 1989. Um, and then, I developed some really, really good relationships with some customers that were ours. My dad started Deerfield in 1981. So at this point, we were all Deerfield Construction. And I got to know some customers really well as a superintendent. And then when I was a project manager, they were asking, some of them were national companies that we were only building for in our tri-state area, Indiana, Kentucky, and Ohio. And one specific customer asked me if I would uh, do a project for him in the state of Maryland. And, I shrugged my shoulders, went to my dad and said, "Hey, I'd like to try this." And he said, "Go for it." So I did. We were successful at building the project. It was a blast, and started doing more and more and more on a national basis with other customers because that strategy really started to work well. So that's kind of how we became um, a traveling company at the time. When my dad grew this business from like $2.5 million in two years of being in business to uh, in 1989 doing about $15 million in business, which was amazing to me. Um, Numbers really didn't do much for me. I was so into what we were doing. It was That's what it was all about for me. And then in the midst of all that, I got married um, at the age of 20, and I started having kids at the age of 23. So when I was promoted to project manager, I had two kids at the time, two girls, and then I started to travel. So it got it was great, but then the older they got, the harder it got, and then had two more children after that. So uh, and then unfortunately, that marriage only lasted 13 years, and um, we parted ways. So at that particular point in time, my kids were my whole focus. So um, in 1993 it was 1994, March of 1994, I um, started in the upper management part of the company as the director of field operations. So I hired and supervised the superintendents in the field, which was a lot of fun also, and a very meaningful learning experience.
Oh yeah.
Managing multiple personalities like that, and these guys are all, uh, they're road warriors. They're out there by themselves, and it's I quickly learned that I had to be three times positive because there were always stuff hitting them that they wanted to talk about. And my ultimate goal there was to turn whatever they were talking to me about around and make it as possible as possible. So um, and then from there in 19 1996, I became a vice president of operations. So then I was in charge of project management and supervision, but had a guy replace me in that role of field supervisor. And then in 1998, the end of the year in 1998, my dad decided he wanted to not ride off into the sunset, but he decided he wanted to back off a little bit and let us do our thing. My brother and I were both here at the time, and my brother was more of the, he went to college. He's kind of a brainiac. He loves to read, and I respect the hell out of him. He's my partner in business today. I love him to death, and I don't know what I would do without him here. So we're kind of he and I attended some contracting network meetings where they would put all the family businesses in one room, and he and I would look at each other listening to these stories like, does that make us weird or what? We get along. We don't, we don't throw punches. We don't argue a whole lot. And pretty soon it was, it was pretty entertaining to watch, but we knew we didn't have to go through that, those types of things to be successful. So,
Yeah.
he picked up his part, I picked up my part, and that those pieces of the company that we both are in charge of, they work very well, and it helps us work better together. So I became president in 1998. My brother became the senior executive vice president, and from 1998 to now, we went. My dad ultimately grew this business. In 1999, we were doing about $120 million in business.
Yeah.
So when I took over, I said to my brother, with the director and field experience, and now being, in management, I really didn't want to do that type of volume because it's just felt like, we were out of control at times. And we were so diverse that there wasn't anything that we could, just put our arms around and focus on. So we backed it off to about 75 million, and we did get better at what we were doing. And we were a lot more focused. And ultimately, when a couple of economic times that we had to back off because it wasn't out there. Ultimately, we decided we built this machine to do $50 million to $60 million a year, and that's the machine we have today.
Nice.
So
very, very cool. I love hearing your story, because at the age of 14, you were already getting taken under the wings and learning immensely.
yes.
So tell me a little bit about Deerfield Construction and the kind of services and products that they offer and sell.
Well, we are a commercial general contractor. We're licensed in 41 states. We don't do business in all those states all the time, but we are licensed in 41 of the 52 states. And the ultimate strategy here, so that we can be a brand, be recognized as a brand, is we do business with national companies or national organizations that have growth plans, all over the United States, and build their projects, their buildings, and a lot of times they're prototypical, they're the same or they're similar. And our brand got to be, we know that we get to know those projects by building so many of them that it really worked to our advantage, even going to get subcontractors to help us because we knew the project, and we could legitimately look a subcontractor in the eye and say, hey, it doesn't matter that you haven't done this type of project before. we will get you through it. Our job is to ensure that you make money on this project. And most of them love that,
Yeah,
that
absolutely.
pitch. Um, and it's truly how we feel. We don't want to have adverse relationships out there. And the way to build relationships is help each other get through a project. So um, that's what we sold to our subcontractors. And it sold itself at that point to the customer.
That is
So,
remarkable. I
uh,
love that the need and want for a win-win-win
yes.
is the end result and really what you guys were gauging for and wanting. So, who would be your ideal client?
The ideal customer or client is somebody nationally recognized that has a presence uh, nationally and growing their business, and they want a partner in their development program that they know will take their project as serious as they do,
Mhm.
will assist in making those projects, uh, enhance them as we build them, um, share ideas, those types of things. Whether those be value engineering ideas that save them money, long term, um, and have that relationship when they come on the job site that we can, talk about those things
Mhm.
in the sense of moving forward, not just this is the one project and I don't really care, what you do moving forward. Um, so that type of approach um, and branding really separated us from a lot of our competition nationally. Locally, we build our local projects too. Um, Not all of them are one-offs, but if it is a one-off, and we don't treat it any differently. The one-off projects that we do here are mainly design build, so we get to do the same thing with our customer conceptually all the way through, turning it over to them, and it works the same way. We can take all our
Yeah,
knowledge and use that to help them decide what they want because that's not something that they do. Um, and it goes a long way to build that type of relationship also.
absolutely. So, what are some examples of projects and things that you have done, especially on the national scale, that maybe we would understand? Because it's
Yeah,
not just neighborhoods, because you're commercial.
we're a commercial builder. Um, so one of our customers is a grocery store chain that has over 2,500 stores now, and we are blessed to have built uh, right at the 500 mark of those grocery stores for this particular customer. So
Yeah,
we're very proud of that. This is a long standing relationship that is um, it's still good and strong today. Um, there are some other national organizations that are restaurant chains that we build for.
mm,
Similarly, they have either multiple restaurants in their chain of restaurants, or they only have a couple. But it's
yeah,
it's the same thing. We build them enough that we uh, we we focus on not being that problem child that they could potentially have in a building program like they have. I mean, we can't build everything for everybody, and we know that. We have that discussion up front. Can't tell you how many times I've had lunch with a customer that says, "Hey, Steve, I need you to ramp up and start hiring superintendents. We've got this program that's gonna go off next year, and I really like to have you involved in it." And I have to kind of put my head down and giggle a little bit and let them know that we want to be part of that program, but um, we'll do as much as we can do without
mhm,
interrupting other long-term relationships or putting all the eggs in one basket. So
That is awesome. And I love how you have these groups that you build for, and it's truly across the nation, so that then you already have that rapport, which is a huge piece in
right,
sales, and really getting to harness that
yes,
energy is something that's super powerful.
it is. And not all the customers have an appreciation for that. And on a local level, that happens sometimes. We built a car wash for a local customer, and the first thing they wanted to know was, is if you're going to build for me, you're not going to build for any other car washes in Cincinnati, right? And I have to say, as long as you keep me busy building your car washes, I could make that commitment. But if that doesn't happen, then you know I have I have a responsibility, and I take it very seriously for 40 families in this company, and um, that's going to be my main focus, and that's going to be my goal, is to make sure that I do get them, uh, you know, what they need to be uh, the successful families that they are right now. So,
Yeah,
um,
yeah,
sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't.
exactly.
Yeah.
But it's the learnings from when it doesn't
Yes.
that
Yeah.
becomes even more. So you had mentioned that you're bringing on your nephew and two sons.
Yes.
So what are they doing today, and what does that look like having them there?
It, when they first started here, and um, my two sons, my youngest son has been here almost 10 years. And my oldest son has been here 5 years. He wanted to, he had a journey in mind, and he went out west, and took that journey for about 9 years, and then uh, called one day and said, "Dad, I think I want to be back home, part of the business. So come on home, we can do that."
Yeah.
He is now part of our maintenance division, which is, they pick up the slack, like punch list type stuff or warranty
Mhm.
type stuff, maintenance type stuff. Any chance we get locally for them to justify themselves. And then my younger son is in project management right now. My nephew is in project management right now, and uh, they're doing really well. I uh, don't like to, and my brother and I don't push them any harder than we feel like they can absorb. So, uh, how much longer they'll need to be in those types of positions before they can take something else on is totally up to them. It's not going to interrupt anything my brother and I are going to do in our journey. We have a continuity plan in place, so I already know who the next president of the company is going to be, and we work that plan in the sense of making sure they are not set up to fail.
That is great. And especially when you go multi-generational
Yes.
from one generation to the next, it's hard.
Well, and if you know the statistics about a third generation, they're not good. I mean, it's
They are
between
not.
20 and 25% success rate. So, um,
And
I,
that's out of the ones that already made it from the second generation.
yes, yes.
So it's
So
really ugly.
it is, and we're very cognizant of that. And on the flip side, we know a few third, fourth, and fifth generation companies that are very successful. So,
Yep.
and those examples they're so uh, unique and interesting that watching, or listening, it works. When you're don't put yourself in a position to have to push somebody into doing something that they're not going to be successful at right away.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. So tell me, Steve, if you were to arrive 5 years from now, what would the business and your life look like 5 years from now?
Oh, 5 years from now, I can imagine. I can imagine my wife and I down in Tennessee at our second home, and I don't believe that I will totally retire. Like I said, we have a continuity plan, and in that continuity plan, I keep the sales and marketing part of the business. It's what I I never thought that I would enjoy doing that, um, but I thoroughly enjoy doing that.
Yeah.
So I will keep that part of the business, and as long as I can be effective. And when I'm not effective, or I don't feel like I'm doing the business justice anymore, I will turn that over also, and then I'll be done and just be enjoying my 12 grandkids and having fun with life.
Well said. So where do you think the business will be 5 years from now?
I think the business will be um, a little bit more diverse than we are right now,
Mhm.
because it's a focus and a goal for us to be a little bit more diverse. We have gotten in the past very comfortable with a handful of customers that have kept us busy. Actually, um, was one of the lessons learned is how to say no as graceful as possible and not upset the apple cart or upset a customer. So we learned how to say no, and it's respected and appreciated. And now it's more about how we grow a diverse base of customers that fit our strategy,
Mhm.
and make it work for us.
Awesome.
So I see that diversity continuing to happen. I see our project management um, being more youthful. It's pretty youthful right now, and it's a big time goal to make that as productive as possible while having a lot of longevity. Um, we have a lot of people here that have been here 15, 20, and 30 years, uh, and that's our culture. People seem to like it. Um, so, uh, that's one of my biggest challenges, is to keep that culture
Mhm.
positive. And, when you talk about hiring people, which is one of my responsibilities, uh, I don't do it traditionally. I like to meet somebody somewhere and have a conversation before I even take it to the next step. Because if I
Abs-
don't have a feeling they don't fit here, I will set them up to fail. Because if I don't have a feeling they fit, and I do know after 28 years of running this company what works and what doesn't work in here, I'd set them up to get kicked out of the band really quick. So I won't do that. And we don't have a huge amount of turnover here, with the exception of people retiring, which is awesome. Um, but it's very challenging, and same on the superintendent side. There's not a whole lot of kids coming out of, whether male or female, coming out of high school that
mm,
don't want to go to college and want to come into our business. It's just the numbers are not there. So I'm really focused on um, where do those kids go, and if they go to the trade schools, how can I get in touch with them and see them through part of their journey, and help them as much as I can
mhm.
independently. And then, if they say they're ready to come into the business to be, oh, I want to go spend 2 years getting a construction management degree or whatever. I'm not talking them into anything, but we have a lot of subcontractors too, and I can make introductions there for them to be very successful in
Right.
whatever they want to do. I mean,
Yes.
a plumber or electrician or a carpenter, these guys make six figures today.
Yes, they do.
They do,
I
and it's
love that.
very good trade work.
Yes, absolutely. So, how many employees do you have now?
We have 34 presently.
Nice. Congratulations. And I love that retention rate because that's very hard to do.
It
To
is
your
very
point.
hard to do. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So I have some rapid fire questions. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right. Excellent. So, what is the key to success for you?
The key to success for me is to, I'm part of a group. The organization is called CEBI. It's Chief Executive Boards International, or Chief Executive Group. Now they got bought. Um, One of the things we do quarterly is we have this life balance form we fill out, and one of mine that I talk about all the time, and it took a while for people to really start to understand me enough to ask questions about it, um, is being self-aware enough as to my influence and my impact on a daily basis coming to work at Deerfield Construction Company. And if I'm not, if I if I wake up because I didn't sleep well, that's my problem. I don't bring that to work. I come here, I read my holy moments segment for the morning, which really helps me focus on being as positive as possible that day. I'm not going to say I don't have bad days, but I my consciousness of that makes me as positive as possible, and uh, I don't spread, or I don't give out negative vibes. I try to be as positive as possible, and staying cognizant and recognizing my impact uh, really helps me be productive and a useful mind during the day for everybody here.
And I'm sure everybody is grateful for that
Yes, yes,
because we don't have it enough.
and like I said, the culture here is, you want to. Some people call it loosey goosey. Um, I call it real,
Yeah.
because when one of our coordinators has a sick kid, she needs to stay home and take care of her child.
Yes.
So we give them what they need, the tools and ability to work from home as much as they can that day. Um, and I don't know that COVID taught a lot of people a lot of lessons, in the area of still being productive and not being in your office. Um, we've been doing this for years before COVID, so it wasn't new to us, and it wasn't very challenging at the time, because we have been doing it anyway. My job sites are remote.
Yeah. Correct.
All my job sites are remote. When people ask me, how many offices do you have? I said, well, I have 12 superintendents and a main office, so I guess I have 13 offices.
And that's going to ebb and flow depending upon how many job sites you
Right,
got going at once.
right.
Yeah.
So, I think that key to success is, um, understanding your impact on the business. And I honestly, until about 15 years ago, I never gave it the credit it was due. I just didn't. It's not, it's not how I was brought up. I mean,
Yeah.
it was, my uncles would, they're all German, and they froth at the mouth and they chew my butt. Uh,
Yep.
and then they come up, put their arm around me and say, "Hey, let's go get a hamburger."
Yes.
And that's the way I was brought up. So,
Yeah.
and we
So,
can have that. We can have that here. It's our culture.
yeah. And that's very powerful too, because you
It,
don't
it,
want to hang on to grudges or disappointments because it's not
right?
going to get you anywhere.
No, No,
No,
you spend your energy on something else.
absolutely.
Not
Yes.
worth it. And everybody in this company, supers included, they know I don't do drama. I do not do drama. Don't bring drama to work.
No. Yes. So, Steve, you kind of mentioned it. What book are you reading right now?
It's Joel Osteen's "You Can, You Will."
Yeah.
Um, 2/3 of the way through it, and like I said to you, I'm not going to sit here and pretend that I'm the most religious or the holy person in the world. Um, but uh, those two books are so. I mean, Holy Moments is so important to me every morning, just to get me started on a positive note. And then reading Joel's books, listening to him on Sunday mornings.
Hmm.
He's a storyteller, and I think that is a lost art.
Yes.
It
Oh,
really
very
is a
much so.
lost art
It is. Yes.
because the stories are what make it real to people who, so people can understand it. It, it
Yes.
it's it might be something that has happened in their life or they've watched happen in their life, and they can relate it a lot better than reading out of a Bible or anything else.
Yes.
I do read the Bible scripts. I They go a long way for uh, keeping you uh, just keeping you yourself under control.
Hmm.
But I just think the storytelling is a long lost art, and I love anybody and or a book that is written that way.
Yes. So, as we come up to our last question for the day, unfortunately, it's gone fast.
Yes.
Share with our audience how they can get a hold of you, get in contact with you, or get to learn more about Deerfield Construction.
Um, you can go to our website at www.deerfieldconstruction.com, and you can learn a lot about Deerfield. My bio is there. I'm not, like I said, I'm not the most exciting person in the world, so that might be the most boring thing you'll see in the website. But there is lots of information about what we build, who we build for. There's lots of information about jobs that are available here, um, what we're bidding, what we're building presently. So
Cool.
anybody that wants to go to that website I would encourage them to learn more about Deerfield. That's where they will learn it. I'm on LinkedIn.
Hmm.
You can find me on LinkedIn if you want a more personal and private question answer session, or you want to know more about Deerfield. I'm more than happy to do that. You are more than happy to email me. You'll find my email address on either LinkedIn or on our website. Same with my phone numbers. You're more than welcome to call me. I have people, uh, you know, uh, that are starting in business that call me, and you know, they say that most people they talk to don't want to talk about it because either they don't have time or um, they don't. They're just not built that way.
Yeah.
I'm the opposite. I will talk to you about anything you want to talk about in the construction business, because if I can keep you from having some of the same pain I did, I'm all for it.
Awesome.
I'm
And
all
thank
for
you
it.
for that. So, for our last final rapid fire question, are you ready?
Yes.
If you could take a little bit of magic dust and sprinkle it on a particular spot in the business, what would it be?
I would sprinkle that magic dust on three individuals here.
All
I
right.
would sprinkle it on my nephew and my two sons so that they could positively absorb um, what my brother and I are conveying to them, and in as positive a manner as possible, continue this business into the third generation successfully.
Oh my gosh. I love that so much. All right. This was a great conversation. I really enjoyed hearing your story and you sharing not only Deerfield Construction with us, but your personal story too. So
Yeah.
thank you so much.
Well, and I didn't mention it, but I will just real quickly.
Yeah.
I am remarried, and one of those sons is a stepson, and I love him like my own. Um, and I'm married to a awesome, most fantastic woman in the world, and I'm going to enjoy the rest of my life with her.
Oh, that's great. Congratulations. And I wholeheartedly appreciate everything that you've shared with us.
Yes.
So now for all of you who are watching, I'm sure you thoroughly enjoyed this too. So save the show, come back, watch it again and again and again, because Steve really had some really cool nuggets about business ownership, but even adversity. It's not a word you use, Steve, but
Yeah.
it's definitely one that, and perseverance, continuing to push through no matter what.
Yes. Yes. And that's what I hope to encourage.
Yes, absolutely. So again, thanks to everyone who joined us today, and a special thank you to Steve. And we greatly appreciate you for sharing, and thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.